Sharon, and she talks.
For the first time in 17 years, Republicans in Congress chose to shut down the federal government.
They have wiggled this way and that to keep being very resourceful. They don't believe in government. They're anti-government ideologues.
They've shut down the government over an ideological crusade, After multiple challenges to this law before the Supreme Court, the Affordable Care Act is here to stay.
It's really gotten to the point now where states really don't have a say in how they legislate or how they go about their business. I mean, we have an overreaching federal authority that in every situation finds itself able to legislate across the country, across the board, and just ignore state sovereignty. That's what we originally had. We had 50 states bound to a union and a close fellowship where we would all support each other, and we were all bound to this common thing called America. This idea that we could come to this country, this idea that we could live separately but equally at the same time. States have the right to oppose what the state wants and what the federal government wants to jump down the pike, and right now they're losing all their say.
It's become a large popularity contest in a sense. It doesn't matter so much about the state or the individual, it's how the government wants the population to view them.
I mean, if you look at the Republican stance right now on Obamacare, they're all united to say, yeah, well, we oppose it, but we're going to replace it.
It's about votes and re-election, not what's best for the country.
Pass these laws, legalize gay marriage. You can't just run state media, manipulate public opinion, and say, oh, look, everybody's on our side when they're not.
We can't even have a discussion about it without being called out as hateful people that don't want happiness for other people. At the very least, the redefinition of marriage should be on a state level.
We've actually created a welfare people and a welfare system. States right now are borrowing money from the Federal Reserve, borrowing money from the government. They've lost all ability to govern themselves. They lost all ability to take care and manage their own people. We have a totalitarian government that disregards the rights of all individuals. And instead of standing for people, they spend so much time dividing everybody. That's what this decision has done. It hasn't solved anything. Just because you legislate that Obamacare is pretty much infallible and nobody can fight it doesn't mean that the issue is gone. It doesn't mean that gay marriage and this discussion shouldn't be discussed. Every individual in this country has a right to express themselves, has a right to stand for what they believe in, and just because you slap the Christian label on it, it doesn't mean that it automatically fails.
Let's silence people that have a different opinion or maybe even a concern.
The Supreme Court's job is not to legislate nationally for the entire country. We are falling apart. We have lost the knowledge and the ability to understand that the federal government, this is not their place, and the state isn't going to stop. What happens to the people that continue to oppose it? There will come a day when the state makes that illegal, when freedom of speech ends. When you take away the moral fiber of a society, that's when a society starts to collapse. When you take morality out of government, when you take morality out of our schools, out of our places of business, out of our daily lives, as if it's taboo to speak out against any of this, then there's nothing to oppose it. And without morality comes corruption. That doesn't seem to click with anybody. Like, yeah, we'll remove God from government. Just look at where our country has gone in the past 50 years. This isn't just because of gay marriage. This isn't just because of Obamacare, but these things contribute to it. It's the state's authority over the people. You're not free.
Apparently, having a discussion labels you as a domestic terrorist.
Like we're the outliers in society. Meanwhile, moral people built this country brick by brick, and society's just turning on them. Do you even realize how difficult it is to stand up in front of peers and colleagues and have an opinion nowadays? It's almost impossible. People look at you like you're some sort of terrorist, that, you know, your discussion, your points don't matter because you're a bigot. As a country, we really need to decide what is right. You either have your own individual values or you represent the state.
It's all about labels and sound bites. It's not about discussion. It's not about facts. It's not even really about the issue.
Just because it's a law, it doesn't mean it's right. If you believe in something, you need to fight for it. You need to get out there and you need to do it for yourself. Otherwise, it's going to continue to happen.